Welcome back to It Starts Now, the happy hour of finance and business. My name is Stanley, and you know it. We had to get this guy back on the show. Al from Pavement, the last one. Matter of fact, he was the one that kickstarted this whole podcast, whole TV media type of thing for us because we knew it was going to be special, and we got a lot of requests to have him back. So we're glad to have Al back. Al, welcome back.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me again, man. It's been like almost a year now, I think.
Yeah, it's going about a year. We did. I think the last time we did it was sometime in August. So we're approaching a year, but no, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of growth within a year. The different space, the equipment is. There's a lot of more content coming out. You guys doing a lot of good stuff, man. I love it, man. I appreciate you for having me again, man. Thank you so much.
Nah, thank you. Is this is not only a special episode for us, but now is the fact that we've seen the progression of Pavement.
Yeah.
Well, like we've been keeping an eye on each other. You know, secretly you put outside. I'm like, oh, okay, I like that.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
for us, it's like we watching Pavement grow into something that's becoming like a community brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So how did you, or do you think you have that established brand right now?
No, I don't think we're quite there yet, but I think we're getting there. Like we're on pace to do it. There's a lot, you know. So our focus wasn't really the community per se when we first started Pavement. It was just like, hey, it's a time crunch. You know, people want these essential items. How do we get them these essential items? And we did that, and we solved that. And now, as we're coming out of COVID, there's like, okay, businesses are opening back up. You know, the people that are suffering the most, you know, are not really big businesses. Big businesses are having like record-breaking profits.
Absolutely.
You know, but small businesses are dying, and it's because they might not necessarily have the infrastructure and the tools to, you know, execute, you know, when it comes to a digital footprint, online business, same-day delivery, you know, understanding inventory and shipping and logistics and all this stuff, you know. So that's the mission we're on now, is using, you know, our skill set and our expertise that we have working at big businesses, and now putting it into Pavement and then helping these smaller businesses as we're scaling and trying to build this ecosystem of small businesses, starting here in New York and then, you know, continuing across the globe.
Right. Now, if I'm trying to understand without giving too much of the IP.
Yeah.
Explain to me, how do you start a logistic business?
Yeah, so I think it depends on what kind of logistics you want. And honestly, you know, logistics it's not really a sexy topic, but it's very like lucrative. It's a very lucrative industry. And now looking at the landscape of business, you know, everybody wants everything delivered. You know, it's either shipping, logistics, so it's huge. It's a huge market. And if you want to get in, let's say, you know, you got a van, you know, you can just be a guy with a van, you know, and then you can do a job for somebody, and then that can lead to a contract. You know, for example, I was on like a pitch competition for the Gentleman's Factory, you know, and then that pitch competition, somebody saw it and it allowed us to get a contract to deliver PPE from Boston to New York City, you know, and we've been doing that for like 5 or 6 months now, every so often. So I think if you're in that field and you want to get started, you know, just having the vehicle like a van or a truck and something like that, you'll constantly network with people in that industry and get started. And I think if you want to do, let's say, more so like long haul logistics, you know, that's not really my specialty, but it really comes down to who's in your network. You know,
right.
Who do you know? You know, you might know a guy that's in that industry, and then you meet one person and it turns into 5 people, you know. And to me, it's like a lot of the stuff I'm seeing now is heavily network driven. You know, It's just like this person knows this person, so now I know this person too, and then they connect you guys, and then you start building these long-term relationships, and it's powerful. Networking is powerful, man. Powerful.
Networking has always been the key to really become successful.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you like you said earlier, you can connect with the right person, and
absolutely.
that right person can open up doors.
100%.
Which is something that's incredible. Right, but with Pavement though, let's backtrack a little bit, and let's start from the beginning. Right, for the people that didn't know the story of Pavement and how you guys got started. Now you created Pavement. Now let's go through the phases. What was phase 1 to get you started?
So phase 1 was the idea of, before COVID, the initial idea of Pavement was, hey, I live in Queens, but I work in Midtown. I work right above Macy's or I work next to Macy's. I can buy something, a customer, you can buy something from Macy's. A person that works in that Macy's building get a notification like, hey, Stanley and I live in the same area. You can deliver to Stanley on your way home. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much paying people for going in the direction they're going anyway. That was the initial idea. And then COVID-19 happened. Nobody's going to work. No stores are open.
Right.
So now I'm like, all right, man, I'm sitting on this great idea. Like, what do I do now? And I kind of fell back into the experience I have of operations, last mile delivery, same day delivery from Amazon. And then working at another startup, understanding like the micro fulfillment part and being able to build these type of systems. And I was like, okay, like, you know what? I'm going to put a website together, get all the plugins and set up the way we want. And it doesn't really have to be aesthetically pleasing. It just needs to do the job. Mm-hmm. And then we pretty much, the company was already incorporated and everything. So we took our tax ID, started getting, accounts with manufacturers, distributors and stuff like that. And I was like, at the time, I was spending money buying product, and then to be 100% honest, I was storing all this product in my house. So my roommate was like, yo, bro, like you got too much stuff in here. Right, I got like product I got boxes in the whole way from my room to the bathroom, on the steps, above the steps, on the side of the steps, in the corners, in my actual bedroom. It's stacked like the ceiling. And it's just like my bed, my dresser, and product.
So how did you maneuver?
So I'm like, I would just come out of my room, like go to the bathroom, like slide by the boxes and do everything. And then like I'll pack all the orders like in the hallway in the room. And like when we first started, I'm like, all right, this is becoming too much. Right. And then we got a warehouse space in Long Island City. And then, we got the branded boxes. And then I was like, okay, like this space is too small. Mm-hmm. Like we're getting pallets of water because we're selling a lot of water. Mm-hmm. Like we need a bigger space. So we just recently moved into a bigger space. And this space allows us to now pivot to the next thing what we want to do which is helping small businesses to become more effective in their own communities with, warehousing, operations and logistics. And this is why we have this bigger space. Now,
this is the second time you're pivoting, correct?
Yeah.
Because initially the first time, like you said earlier, it was supposed to be peer-to-peer type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm walking by the city, I'm going that direction. I can utilize you to drop that off, right?
Yeah.
Then you pivot because of COVID-19. Then you had more of the essential items that people needed. Mm-hmm. And now you pivoting again with adding to help small businesses.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, is it something that you find that iteration, every time something come across, you figure like, okay, maybe we need to evolve this?
Yeah, I think, because if we're going to say, okay, we're going to sell essential items, and deliver them the same day, what's the difference between Payvmt and Amazon Prime Now, where you can get, stuff delivered from Whole Foods or the Prime Now locations in an hour or two? There's no difference, and you really can't. You're not going to out Amazon,
right?
So the thought is, what subset of people, what group of people can we provide the most value for, given our experiences and given the position we're in? And that is small businesses. Every single person that knows a small business owner, they have very little time and they're trying to wear 1,000 hats. How does Payvmt come in and provide you value where we take away 10 of those hats you don't need to wear when it comes to operations, warehousing, same day delivery, and just the digital footprints, and execute on that? I'll give you an example of one of the things we have that what we're currently working on is, if you own a barbershop, right? We know you need paper towel, the paper that goes around your neck, rubbing alcohol, and now barbers are wearing gloves, and plus the spray to clean, the clippers.
Right.
How do we give you that so you always have it and don't have to worry about it? How do we automate that for you? And then how do we automate it for barbershops? What are the products for salons? What are the products for nail salons, beauty supply stores, and so on and so forth, and restaurants?
You're talking about the everyday necessities.
Yes, for businesses. So we can automate that, because we already have been having customers buy, direct to consumer with the household brands. So now we have these businesses we're supplying product for, like non-inventory stuff that they need. And now these businesses are in our ecosystem. Their customers are now looking at who's Payvmt. Right. So now we're acquiring their DTC customers as well. And then from there, it's like, okay, I run a t-shirt business or a hat business. I want to offer same day delivery. Well, I just started this. My t-shirt company blew up. I can't manage 50 to 60 orders a day. I need a third-party logistics company to help me. We need a partner that is going to advocate for us on the back end, and that partner is Payvmt. So there's so many different avenues that we're following now to really use the expertise that we have to really execute for customers. And these can be, businesses or, regular everyday customers.
Okay, so you're dealing with B2B and you're dealing with customers. But now you set up this automation. Mm-hmm. What's the next phase?
Yeah, so the next phase is in terms of the automation or for the B2B?
As terms of the automation, like you set it aside. Now you're reaching out to, because you're doing B2B and you're doing customer direct, right?
Yeah.
So now you have this thing automated. Now, what's the game for Payvmt?
Yeah.
Like, what's the thought process once you have everything in place?
Yeah. So the thought process is, okay, we have so many different avenues we can attack. We can do D2C, we can do B2B, we can do third-party logistics, we can do same-day delivery. It's pretty much testing all these hypotheses on which one is going to be the one that we're going to be able to scale to really build a really, really big engine. And then once we've tested that and proved like, hey, this is the moneymaker right here, we'll double down on that and we'll scale the business to grow it to become, a multi-million-dollar business.
Right.
But I think we're working towards getting what they call product market fit. Is like, what product am I putting out in the market that it fits seamlessly, provides value, and people love it. And there's, in the operational space that we're in, there's so many different things that we're trying to tap into. And it's like, okay, we're creating systems to do this. And this is more so like behind the scenes stuff, like the team and I talk about. The front end stuff is more so, educating people on the importance of e-commerce. So like now you'll see me like doing a lot more videos, showing my face on Payvmnt'S page and what's the difference between drop shipping, 3PL. This is more the educational piece of it. And then, because we're following like a certain content strategy now,
right?
And this strategy is like, we need people to understand who we are, what we do, beyond just trying to sell you Tide detergent or Gain detergent. Like, we need to be able to build this sense of trust with our community where small businesses see us as the go-to source when it comes to education, what's going to happen next in the market and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Your field is such a broad field,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And there's so many moving parts within that field. I guess my question is, what's the potential? Because everything boils down to cash flow, right?
Yes.
So what's the potential somebody can make within that field?
Man, dude, like, and so if you think about it, right, like, if you look at the same day delivery marketplace, let's just only talk about like same day delivery marketplace. A lot of these marketplaces, the total addressable market are sometimes like in the hundreds of $1 million, if not billions of dollars. So when it comes to like same day delivery, like I was just reading something in a book called The Ford. I was just scrolling through the book, and they were saying like the retail market is in the trillions. Granted, I don't think we'll seize that $1 trillion market. This is not being realistic, but
not yet, of course.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to seize a good portion of the market, especially when it comes to same day delivery, because there's nobody really advocating. I mean, for small business, there's nobody really advocating for small businesses to really say, okay, we can't win by working alone. If we really want to build something great, and this is the core structure of any great organization, they have a solid team. Like, how do we now transpose that into small business understanding? Like, hey, if we pull all our resources together, all our tribes, all our customer bases together, we're in a great position to really build something that has a lot of, customers and can generate a lot of money, because you have some small businesses that are making like millions of dollars a year, and they might be a one-man show. So how do we scale that to grow your business to make this $100 million business and $100 million, even $1 billion market? I think it's possible, highly possible, to build a unicorn in an operational space, just because, it's like, look at Amazon, man. Like, I think Jeff Bezos owns like 13% of Amazon. It's like the richest person in the world. You know what I mean? I hate to bring it up, but it's a really huge market, and I think it's only going to grow even more because of COVID. I think when people go back outside, they're not going to really want to spend time in like grocery stores. The
convenience part of it is essential right now. Because everybody wants something delivered without the hassle of going to get it, which I understand. But at the same time, when you bring everybody, when you cultivate this union of bringing everybody together. And yes, you're gonna have the leverage piece, right?
Yeah.
But then you're gonna have more of a giant of an organization. How you're gonna structure that, like where you have multiple people coming together in different avenues, right? Within that space that they're working on. How do you divide that? How do you organize that?
Yeah, so I think our role will be more of like the person that gets everybody to work together. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll vet businesses to come into our ecosystem. If you're not a good fit for us, we will deny you, you know, because if we're not in it to make one person really, really big. We want everybody to win that's in our ecosystem. Mm. So if you don't line up with the vision and we can't work with you for a long period of time, we're not going to work with you for a short period of time, even if the deal is really, really good. Right. Because it could significantly mess up your company's culture. And I think for us, the trickiest thing will be is telling certain businesses no because of X, Y, Z. Here's how we want to operate in terms of an ecosystem where we're all looking out for each other. There's a certain level of trust we have all across the board with every single business we know, like where my role might significantly shift to talking to all these business owners on a consistent basis. And that's all we do. Like, here's the vision. Here's who's coming in. This is what we need to do. And as we scale, it's like, how do we now multiply that for Payvmnt'S team so they understand what we need to be doing when talking to these business owners and our goals into the future. That's like one of the trickiest things to do. Right. Is getting people bought into the mission and they're conveying it to everybody else because they're so bought in and they really love what you're trying to build here. Right. And as the time is passing, like I'm starting to see that now. People are saying like, "Hey Al, like I'm with you, man. Like I'm down for you for the long haul." You know, I have friends people that I never expected to help me. Right. You know what I mean? Like, yo, man, we did a photo shoot, a video shoot at the warehouse. And a buddy of mine I went to college with that I didn't really have I wouldn't say a great relationship, but like we didn't really talk every single day. Mm-hmm. Like him and I now talk a lot. Like, Al, man, listen, like whenever you're ready, like you need more investors, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like he came to the video shoot and it's just that like, I'm starting to realize that it'll be the people out of left field that'll come like, yo, man, listen, I want to get down with this. You know what I mean? And it's mind blowing to me. Right. It's just like, wow, like people are watching you and believe in what you want to do and want to be a part of that. And those are the people that we want to have within our organization. I
did a short clip about that where, you know, sometimes you have to go through that journey. And then as you're moving through that journey, pieces are starting to come. The resources of people, they'll eventually they'll come and help you, but you have to initially start the process. Yep. So with you started the traction already, right? And they seen the progression of that traction that you made. So now they're like, okay, he's serious and he's not going to give up. Yep. So let me help out. Let me do my part. Yep. And in return, it's like like-minded people tend to attract each other when they see that we have the same grind. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And like I said, Payvmt been growing pretty moderate, but at the same time, you see all the things are just starting to come together. Yeah, and which I definitely like about it. But let's go back some more, because now that was you're in phase 2 now. Now, Payvmt is setting up to bring people together, businesses together, to automate most of their purchasing process, right? And the delivery and everything. So now, what is Payvmt ultimate goal? Like, what do you guys see yourselves growing to? Yeah, so I see us being more of a partner in communities all over the globe, right? You know, and what I mean by that is there's businesses, even big and small businesses, that are struggling with some of the things that we're trying to solve for. You know, we have a same-day delivery ecosystem in New York City. How do we now expand that to New Jersey? Let's take all the local businesses that are in our ecosystem and then mix them with the businesses that we're going to bring on in New Jersey, and then take the New Jersey, New York, and then bring them into Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and then Miami, and then, you know, California, Texas, DC. And then now you have this cross-pollination of all these local businesses that are once local but now national.
And then we have resources in Africa. It's like, okay, we have people that are, in Africa making products all over the continent. Like, how do we now connect those people to get them, their products onto our ecosystem? Now we have a friend of mine that runs I think you should interview him too, that he runs a company called Border Nation. And he does so many documentaries in Africa, and he's coming in contact with all these people that are making product. How do we now pull that product into Payvmnt'S ecosystem? Like, how do we help Border Nation? And then, like, how do we expand that all over the globe? So I think our role becomes more of advocating for the future of business when it comes to these small and medium-sized businesses. Like, where is the future going for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and how do we solve for that and provide the most amount of value?
All right, I like that. This Payvmt right now, from last we spoke.
Yeah.
I'm comparing it to from when we first initially spoke to now.
Yeah.
At one point, you were thinking about, you already had an exit strategy just in case, Walmart come in. Things like that. Now that you're in the process of getting a seat up to 250K, right? Yeah. So now, has that changed?
Yes, I think, just let me be honest, right? Like, I look at, I study a lot of like entrepreneurs and people that have done it in the game. And you see like how these dudes have like amazing exits in like 2 years. And then you start to program your mind like, all right, man, 2 years, I'm out of here. Like 2 years, we're at the moon. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to program my mind like that. And I'm like, that is such an anomaly where you can build this company and in 2 years you got an amazing exit. Some people do it.
Some people do. To be honest, when you hear some success stories, you're like, wait, you did this in a year, you did it, but you don't know the amount of commitment and a lot of amount of legwork or resources that they may have or had at that time. But there's some companies that it takes them about 3 to 5 years before they see any progress.
Right, and that's something that I was catching myself suffering from, is the instant gratification piece, because like everything at Amazon happens so fast, we're able to scale like 200% in like a year, and you start to suffer from that instant gratification when you like leading an organization. It's like we were doing so many granular things that were like building in our favor, like micro things that I might have overlooked and not tell the team, this is a really good job, like good job on this small win. I'd be like, man, it's not $1 million deal. Who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? But and then I had to really catch myself, is that like
celebrate those small
wins. You got to celebrate the small wins. And somebody told me like, man, you got to celebrate the small wins because you're getting a lot of small wins. But it's just that like I've set the bar so high that if nothing even like taps the bar, it's like I don't really care about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I started to realize, I was like, that's like I'm starting to live a different type of lifestyle in terms of a leader. And I'm saying like, okay, like guys, we got this amount of people on the platform. That's really, really good. We turned this on, we did this. These are celebrating these small wins. And it's become like, okay, we need to now start having a way longer mindset in terms of like what we want Payvmt to be. If let's say a big giant comes on, they want to, buy us out, that's a conversation we'll have. But now how my mind works is like there's so many iterations and so many things I want to do for Payvmt that I said like, okay, like this is going to take a longer journey and I have to commit to this journey being the person that's carrying the vision down the line for the business. And, it's like, I was like, you know what, man, things are good. 3 years, I'm out of here. I'll be on the beach in Africa. See you later. You know what I mean? And I'm realizing like, man, I got to commit at least a minimum of 3 to 8 years minimum, even longer than that.
I think it is the volume of the dream or the size of the dream. If the dream is really big, not to say it can't happen in a short period of time, but when the dream is so big, you have to have that expectation of 3 to 5 years, before we see something grand. But I'm like you to the degree. But here's the thing, the intangible thing about not celebrating small wins, which I know you're supposed to, right? But you never want somebody to settle. Right? Because we got a small win. This is great. But how many times are you going to celebrate small wins that we should have been winning in the first place? You get what I'm saying? So some of the intangibles by not celebrating, and I'm not saying I'm correct, because because I do believe you have to celebrate the small win, but you have to know which one is significant versus which one is not so significant. Like, right? Because what happens is the intangible thing about it is nobody settles. All right, yeah, that was cool. Let's keep going.
Yep.
When you set that mindset, like, listen, yeah, that was cool, but this is not it. This is not the one we celebrate. And then you keep going. So you have the pros and cons with it. But yes, you have to celebrate, but you have to know which one has value.
And I think, you know, a lot of times, like, we see people super successful. Mm-hmm. But like what I'm starting to really focus on, and I've been like talking about a lot on IG, and like is a phrase called sustained pain of failure. Mm-hmm. And what that pretty much means is like you fail, but don't lose momentum. You know, like, so if I'm running a relay race or something like that, and then I get a cramp, I don't stop running. I keep on pushing through, because even though I got this cramp and I failed, I'm still going to sustain that pain and keep going. So for my team now, it's like, all right, we put this out. We didn't get the reaction we wanted. We need to now be able to sustain that loss, that failure, and keep on moving towards our goal and just learning, okay, this didn't work. Cool. We're not going to let it slow us down or any feel type of way, and keep putting it out. Because if you're winning consistently, when you take that loss and you're not used to the loss, it's going to be a crazy blowback, you know? So for me and the team now, and I love them for this, is because we won't do like, we'll create like content on social media, and it won't be perfect. And it's like, all right, cool. Like, that's not going to stop us from putting out the content because we're going to sustain that failure. And like how the sizing or something is not perfect, we're just still going to put it out and understand that we're going to get better. And the team, they do an amazing job of just saying, like, okay, we can sustain this pain of failure and keep on moving. And I think that's what really is key when it comes to growth, is like, it's statistically impossible to build a great organization and not lose. And not take certain lessons learned. Because you didn't lose, but there was some lessons learned. Absolutely.
So if you take back some of those lessons that you learned along the way, you're going to progress. But you said something that was very key, is that you're still putting it out even though it's not polished, right? And a lot of us, we want things to be polished. And the reality is, you're just getting started. How can it be polished?
The raw stuff is amazing, bro.
Yeah, the raw stuff is amazing. But here's the thing about it is, anything you put in that amount of effort and consistency and work towards it, is only going to get better. Right? Even if you don't have the right passion, right? Because the passion is what's going to really drive you to make it go to the next level. But anything you work at consistently and put that effort in, you're going to get better at it.
Absolutely.
And the only thing you have to do is measure yourself. Now, if you're not putting that effort, you're going to see it when you look back and start measuring yourself. You're going to be like, hold up, we didn't get better. That's because you didn't put the effort or the consistency.
Absolutely.
But if you put the consistency and you go back in hindsight and look back, you'll be like, wait, we improved from where we started to where we at right now.
Absolutely.
So I think that you're right. Sustaining the lessons learned is very important. But you have to have that mindset to say, I'm not going to quit. Right?
Yeah. It's, bro, when I tell you, man, that's that right there, man. that statement you said right there it's really like a doozy, that I'm not going to quit, because they're like, so many things like within the year time we've been operating that happen, man, that it really like tests your commitment to the vision. You test your commitment to and it's like, like all these good things are happening, but like, we'll have 10 good things are happening, and then like it's just natural where like it's like one failure is like a real gut punch, you know, and you're like, man, like I can't catch a break, you know, and I'm like, and that's how I really feel sometimes, man. I mean, like I can't catch a break because, you know, somebody hit our van, you know what I mean, and then the insurance company doesn't want to pay for it, so now we got to pay for the van out of pocket. Now, you know, we might be off budget somewhere else. Like now, there's other expenses creeping in,
and you got to find ways to allocate from one. Yeah, I know.
And it's just like, man, like this is statistically impossible. Why is this happening to me? And that's how I feel sometimes. But it's just that like I started to realize like it's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, if you look at the math on like how many people are super successful and how many people are not, like it's very hard. Like Nipsey Hussle was saying, like to become successful, it's not in your favor. You got to go against the odds, like escape velocity.
Right.
And, you know, like I feel like being an entrepreneur is probably like one of the toughest things that I've ever done in my life. You know, growing up in like a not really bad neighborhood or going to a bad school, I feel like, oh man, that was a cakewalk now.
Right.
But I also feel like a lot of that stuff that happened set me up to be here. You know, the things that, you know, your experience at, you know, working at Delta at a high level, understanding the operation, looking at things at aerial view, you start to account for, all right, okay, I want to start my own media company. You start to now know how to put the vision together of what pieces that you need and what you need to do and how to capture that.
Correct.
And I feel like a lot of those experiences that you and I had in our lifetime has put us in a great place to do the things that we want to do now.
Absolutely.
So when things happen, like for instance, like I think one thing I'll mention is I think my Amazon career and operational experience in life will be significantly different if I didn't have a black manager as the first manager of me coming into Amazon.
It wouldn't have that impact.
By a long shot, because it's like you're going to like one of your first corporate jobs, fresh out of college, and you walk in and it's like, yo, your favorite uncle is your manager, and he's giving you all the sauce.
Right.
It's going to significantly put you higher than anybody else in the field. And I feel like at the time, I didn't know how crucial that was.
Right.
Looking at it now, 5-6 years later, I was like, man, that was a game changer. Right. Because and then by my time there, I started to see other managers and how much they knew versus how much I knew. Like I've been there for a shorter period of time, but he would put certain things in my path to accelerate me. And now looking at it now, I was like, man, I learned this in 2017 from Carlos.
Right.
This is one of the things he said, and now this is 2021, 5 years ago. Thanks, bro. you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of things, you know, like another quick story. Like my mother's friend, you know, I pretty much like my aunt. You know, our families grew up together. When I was at Stony Brook, I wanted to start, you know, a campus food delivery business. You know, and like Stony Brook, it was just like like Stony Brook wasn't ready for like this type of technology. You know, like somebody delivering food from a dorm, from a dining hall to a dorm. It was like nobody was doing this in New York City. No school was doing it. So like it was. So this is like 2015, right? 2016. Fast forward 2020. My mom's friend, it's my aunt. She was like, "Yeah, the Pavement is just like your dorm, your campus delivery company that you want to start." And I stopped and I was like, "Whoa."
Wow.
It's crazy, you know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, man, like all this stuff is like I've done the research.
So subconsciously it was there. It was dormant.
Yeah.
And then now it surfaced when you started and somebody had to point it out and connect the dots.
Yeah, and I was like, man, all these experiences that we had have brought us to where we are today, you know, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah.
I'm a little bit opposite, but similar stories. Most of the people the leaders that I respected, I clashed with. Yeah. Like we bumped heads so many times, and I come to value their opinions now. I mean, we're close friends. I'll call them up. I'll get some advice. They are like mentors to me right now. But we speak on a level of eye to eye. Yeah, it's no longer that leader and you know, under person. Yeah. Now we speak to each other on the eye-to-eye level. But during the time when they were my leaders, it was just a clash. Yeah. And then towards the end, it's like we found a way to have a mutual respect where it's like, okay, this person, I mean, I like him, but at least he's going to be honest. And tell me right? Yeah. And so out of that respect level, we gain a working environment where it became more of a trust factor because now I know this person really has my back, and then from that point on, open the doors for me to see a lot of different things. But all of them started. Even one of the ones that was pushing me ahead. She even turned around and was like, and told somebody else he's rebellious. So that happens, man. It happens is because. When you have an entrepreneur spirit, right, or you feel that you could do something better, not necessarily that you can, but you feel it like I can do this a little bit differently. Yeah, absolutely. I can improve on this, whatever it is, the process, the company, whatever it is. So once you have that feeling,
you're the black sheep.
not only you're the black sheep, but they're gonna have to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you turn around and be like, wow, this person really knows their stuff.
This dude knows his stuff, and
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. So, but then that drives you, and it makes you come to not only appreciate. They come to appreciate what you have to offer because you're number one. You're keeping it 100.
Yep.
You're being very honest of who you are.
Yep.
Right. I'm not hiding who I am.
Yep.
Right. You're not hiding who you are.
Yep.
This is Al. This is Stanley. Hate it or love it. This is who we are.
Yeah.
Right. But then they come to appreciate you for being
The authenticity.
the authenticity of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I get that. I get the whole. Without this, or without these challenges, we wouldn't be able to have these conversations today, and really sustain all the things that you said it best, the emotional roller coaster that people go through. Right?
It's a. I feel like if people be like, hey, like anybody could be an entrepreneur. That's cap. Like, because if everybody's an entrepreneur and you and I are both building businesses,
right,
who's gonna work in our business?
True.
And the thing I say about entrepreneurship, like, you have to be very, one, sure about yourself, and two, you have to be comfortable consistently being uncomfortable, consistently being challenged in so many different mental ways, emotional ways.
Right.
If you want to build a big engine. And like for me, like if I was married, I don't know how my relationship and my marriage would be because I'm so obsessed and committed to Payvment where I might neglect my wife.
Right.
So the people that are building companies, I feel like want to build companies, you have to be conscientious of like what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell everybody like, yeah, man, like this Payvment stuff is easy, man. Like we're rocking and rolling. It's constant like tests.
Right.
You get ahead 5 steps. All right, cool. Let me slap you up really quickly.
Right.
You're gonna go back 2 steps, then you're gonna go forward again.
Right.
And it's a constant, like, it's a really unsettling gut feeling, because it's not like I clock in at work 9 o'clock. If I do nothing all day, I'm still gonna get paid. I'm still gonna get paid, bro.
Yeah, still get paid.
You know what I mean? Like entrepreneurship, like
you
wake up 10 o'clock, sit there all day.
Yeah.
You get no money.
Yeah. I've made this comparison between. A hustler is an entrepreneur. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
But there is a comparison between a 9-to-5 person and somebody that's hustling or an entrepreneur.
Yep.
One of the things that I don't care what people say, 9-to-5 is the easy way out.
Yeah.
It is the easy way out. Yeah. I don't care what people think, and it's no disrespect.
Yeah.
There's no disrespect because I think that you if you don't have any business skill sets, the best way to get it is into a 9-to-5.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you can learn a lot in a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And if you take that same discipline and learn and raise your hand, then you'll be able to take all that and then apply it into your business, right? So it's a great thing, but 9-to-5 is still the easiest way out because you just, like you said, you come in, I do my work, doesn't matter, I'm still getting paid. Whether I give 100%, whether I give 50%, 60%, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to 9-to-5, I think the majority of our society is wired like that. Mm-hmm. I go to work Monday through Friday, and I'm off on the weekends. Let's get lit all weekend.
Right.
Recover on Sunday and go to the job that I hate on Monday.
Right.
But I think it's easier to do that than really have an internal conversation with yourself to say like, all right, I don't really like this job. What do I like? What do I really want to do?
Right.
How can I get out of this position?
Right.
I need to not party on the weekends. I need to focus on what's really important.
Right.
Like this is like we're here on a Saturday. Like
yeah.
we could be on vacation somewhere.
We could be anywhere.
We could be anywhere in the world we wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's harder than just being miserable for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Right.
I think it takes more of an uphill climb to really figure out what you want to do and how you're going to make yourself happy. And at the same time, a lot of times our lifestyles are stacked against our 9-to-5.
Right.
Like I got 2 car notes I need to pay. I got, a new mortgage. I got all these things. I got to put my kids in school. I'm living like, I'm living a really baller lifestyle. Mm-hmm. For somebody to fold all that up and start from square one because they're not necessarily happy, it's not really a good trade-off.
No.
You know, for me, like,
no, unless, and I'm sorry to cut you off, unless, like I try to share this.
Yep.
If you don't have any seed money to start your business, use your 9 to 5 as your VC to get you started. You can be your own VC to get yourself started. But then go ahead, continue.
Yeah, and then you can be your own VC if you have the money, right? Like when I wanted to start Payvment, automatically I'm like, all right. I started looking down like line items, like what's all my expenses. All right, man, I'm paying $22.50 a month for rent, nothing included. All right, this apartment gotta go. Right. My boy from Amazon is moving back to New York City. Hey, man, I got an apartment for you. You know, you pay $1,600, I'll pay the rest until you find your own apartment. Right. You know, and I was able to get out of my lease with no penalty and get back my deposit. So instead of paying, you know, the $22.50, I only had to pay like about $700, $800, which is significantly better than paying $2,500 with everything included.
Correct.
Now my boy got inbound parking. He didn't have to sign a lease. He got a place to live, and then it actually worked out because he didn't even come back to New York. He went to New Jersey.
Right.
So if he would have signed a lease, he would have had to buy out of the lease. So I got rid of my apartment. It's like, okay, I'm gonna start renting my car out because I need this money to really take Payvment seriously and take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, like me taking those steps back is like, man, like at the time I was 27, 28. Mm-hmm. I got a great job. I got a great car. Right. I got a great apartment. Right. I got money in the bank. I got stock options. I got everything. And I'm like, what else? What more? Like I'm shining right now. I'm winning. You know, I'm winning on like
especially at that age.
I've made it. Like I've
the American dream.
Yeah. And then I'm saying to myself, like I was sitting in my living room. I'm like, man, I really don't feel. I'm really not happy. What do I really own that I can say that is mine? Right, I got a car note and I'm renting. Right. I'm like, this is more so of like an experience that I'm living through. And I said to myself, like, you know what? Like you left Amazon to really start something. Let's take it seriously. But you're going to have to like check your ego, get rid of it, and live like, you know, a kid back in college to really succeed, to build what you want to build. Mm-hmm. And it was exactly that, man. And it's like now it's what? A year and some change later, I probably haven't took a day off since I resigned from that startup in February. And it's almost like 400 days, you know? Right. So it's just like, I've committed to doing what I'm going to be doing. You know, it's like, because people offer me jobs like, hey, you want this job, like $150K a year. I'm like, wow, that's a good money right now. You know what I mean? Like $150,000, $180,000. I'm starting to right now. I might have to jump in now for like 6 months. Let's start to get some money real quick, you know?
But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But you have to know, is that the part of the game?
Yeah.
There's no perfect plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if you have to go for 6 months to procure some of that so that way you can evolve this company, then by all means do that.
Yeah.
But understand you're going to have to that's double the work.
Double the work. Yeah. And it's just the time, like for me, if I need cash and I need like, we can always get like more delivery contracts to bring more money in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where like, okay, like now I'm trying to get rid of the Benz and it's like, okay, I get rid of the Benz, automatically I'm gonna get another van. The van is gonna make the money easily, right? Especially with somebody in it. So it's like, okay, that's not really the end goal of Payvment, is to have all these delivery contracts. But it's like, if these delivery contracts can bring us X amount of revenue and cover all our baseline expenses and still be able to scale with the Payvment revenue coming in, it's like, all right, cool. Like if I gotta deliver packages, man, and do deliveries, you know, 2-3 times a week, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. There's no ego and pride in me saying like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Right. You know what I mean? Like I've done like when it comes to like really changing and really doing what you want to do, I feel like you gotta check the ego and really, you know. And I was telling my friend this earlier today before I got here. It's like, you know, I feel like as black men, a lot of times we might not want to ask another black man like, hey, can you help me with this? Mm-hmm. Not me, bro. Not me. You got the answers. I'm coming to you, and I'll badger you. I'll come to you very humbly, like, hey, man, like Stanley, you did this and this. How'd you do that? Right. You know what I mean? Like, all right. Matter of fact, can I call you? Like, like there's certain people like on Instagram that I'll just DM. Right. That I see them like doing it. I'll just DM him. Like, hey, let's have it. Or I'll be on LinkedIn. I'm like, hey, let's have a phone call. Let's talk about this. Right. And that expands my network where people are now seeing, we're following each other's companies. Mm-hmm. People start to know you. And it's just because like when you're trying to obtain information, it's like a kid in school. You don't have an ego about knowledge when a teacher's teaching you.
Correct.
You've done this, and I want to do it too. Show me how to do it. I don't have an ego about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just gonna accelerate me getting there. I'm gonna ask you a million questions. If I don't understand something, I'm gonna tell you, hey, I don't understand this.
Right.
I don't care if you think I'm stupid. Break it down. Break it down to me like you're speaking to, a 2-year-old.
Right.
You really know it. Break it down to me. I know it. Okay. Now I know it. Thanks. Yeah. Let's keep in contact. You're great. You're a great resource. Now when somebody else asks me, like, yeah, this dude told me. And this is what he told me. And this is how I put my spin on it. And this is what's working for me over here in New York.
Right.
And now it's like, it's just really a networking conversation.
That's all it is.
Thanks.
and then you plugging people into as you're going. Kobe Bryant was one of the people, like, he asked Michael Jordan a question.
Yeah.
Simple question on the court.
Yeah.
And he was like, after Mike answered the question, he was like, all right, call me anytime.
Yeah.
And Kobe literally called him every time.
But people won't do that, though.
Yeah. And he said there was a point where he was becoming a nuisance.
Yo, stop calling me. Stop calling me.
But then he realized, he really wants to learn.
Right.
And he's put in the time. The worst thing you could get is somebody's attention.
Yeah.
And they give you that information and you don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Right?
A friend of mine just posted that too. Yeah, a friend of mine just posted that on Instagram too.
Like, that's the worst thing you can do. It's like this person taking time out their day to share that information.
Yeah.
And then yet you don't do it.
Yeah.
So now you lose a network.
Yeah.
Right?
I think oftentimes we know what to do. We just don't execute it. And I feel like a lot of people that are successful in business or are, doing a lot of things, I think it's heavily predicated on their ability to execute. You know what I mean? If you're telling me, all right, cool, I want to start a media company, I'm going to execute. I'm going to get microphones. I'm going to get all the equipment I need to start this media company. I need a new space. You're executing. And I think a lot of times, when you have like an operational experience, and like, matter of fact, when you have an operational experience that is heavily predicated on time, you become very good at executing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
time
working
management.
at Delta, everything is time.
Time management.
Working at Amazon, everything is time. Everything is on a time structure. Your level of execution is significantly higher than other people that haven't been in those situations. And you got to be thankful for those. And it's
everything is time critical. But here's the thing. Not only it evolves around time, but it also evolves around doing it in the right way. So you still have to be precise with it.
Yeah.
Right. So not only that you're on a time crunch, but you have to be precise with it, and especially when people's lives are in jeopardy.
Yeah, especially in the airlines.
Right,
in the airlines, absolutely. Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have that accountability.
Yeah.
So you want to empower people to have that sense of urgency.
Yep.
But efficiency at the same time, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing when you have that piece.
Yeah.
Right. Where you know that, listen, I set a deadline based off I'm already programmed.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, especially when you did something routinely for a certain amount of time, it subconsciously is there. So now you know, like, listen, I need this done right away. My wife would say, man, you did a lot. Relax, you have tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't got tomorrow.
You got it right now. Right now.
I want to get it out the way right now.
Right now.
Like,
Yep.
Now she understands me.
Yeah.
Right? In the beginning, when she be like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, nah, right now.
Yeah.
We have to, everything we do, we have to do it right now. And now she understands me a lot better. So now
that's definitely like the circumstances that you've been in. Like, in the airlines industry, it's like, if the weight imbalance is off of the plane, that can be a catastrophic accident.
Right.
And it's not like you're only dealing with one flight. You're dealing with multiple flights, multiple passengers' lives, hundreds of passengers' lives. You're dealing with the captain, the flight crew. You're dealing with the fueling company. There's so many intricacies that you know what I mean. The multiple like some of most of the characters I've met in my life are on the ramp. You know what I mean? At Delta, you meet a lot of characters. You know what I mean? Like. And it enables you to like interact with a lot more people easily because there's so many different personalities working in these big organizations. And I think, that time thing is what it really comes back to, like you can just tell when somebody's executing, that they're used to executing. Yeah. You can just tell by the way they move, what they do, how they, their vibe that they give off, because you're like, all right, this dude's no nonsense, and it's just because you've been working in a system where everything is against the clock.
everything
is against the clock. You know what I mean? And it's like I was like a friend of mine, right? He used to work at Target. I'm like, bro, there's no timer in Target.
Right.
There's no clock to be like, yo, this trailer needs to be off the door. Otherwise, the 1,000 customers that need to get this packed in 2 days, it's gonna miss the plane going to PDX airport.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's none of that at Target. It's like, man, where's the bananas? Where's the Ajax? You know what I mean? Like, so you build a different level of urgency, is what I'm saying, and then I think that puts you it gives you an advantage. It
does.
It gives you a time analysis advantage.
Right.
You know, where it's like, all right, man, I can do, because you look at Delta, let's use Delta, for example, or even Amazon. It's not really a 9 to 5. It's a job, but it's like when I was at Amazon, I was working overnight for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I would sleep all day.
I think we have to separate the position. We have to highlight the positions, because when you're in a leadership position,
absolutely,
that is nonstop.
Absolutely,
right?
It doesn't go off.
That doesn't go off.
Yeah.
So when I had the corporate phone, so I had my phone in my and I would have to carry both around because you don't know when there's emergency where you're going to be called in. Even if you're your day off, they might have some questions regarding something that happened the night before, and it might be something that's urgent because you're dealing with people's lives at the end of the day, and you're dealing with different personalities and people that just want. People want concerns about their pay. People want concern about their days off.
Everything, vacation.
So you're constantly in motion.
Yeah.
Right? So you're never stoic in a sense. Right?
Never.
You're always in motion.
Always.
Right? So now you pick up this, which it can be a bad habit to a degree.
Yeah.
Because you never shut off.
Yeah. That's my problem now. I don't shut off.
So, and then sometimes I get like when I'm like antsy because I'm like, okay, I should be doing something.
Yeah, like, why am I sitting here?
Like, why am I sitting here?
Exactly. Why am I sitting here?
I need to be doing
what
something.
What is going on? Yeah.
When you highlight the fact that is the position. I'm sorry, we have to highlight the position at these conglomerates, right?
Yep.
So when you highlight those positions, you realize you're nonstop moving.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair, man. Like, because you're always jacked in. At Amazon, everybody was always jacked in. I feel like a lot of times, like you working at these big organizations in a leadership role, it's like you're in a shroud.
Right.
Like the outside world doesn't necessarily exist. You're so oblivious to what's going on in the outside world.
You get consumed.
And like Amazon got us, right? Like when I first got there, they were like, yo, we'll give you $50 towards your phone bill every month as an expense. So you can just get $50 free for your phone bill. But I didn't know it was a long-term play for them to be like, yo, put your email on your phone. Now we got you. You can't say you didn't. You can't say
all-day access.
You know what I mean?
All-day access,
and then like Amazon created like its own internal, Skype or something. It was like its own.
Let me tell you something. I made this mistake. Because I was in charge of a terminal.
Yeah.
And at the time, one of my colleagues was leaving.
Yeah.
So I was the only one there for a short period of time. It wasn't a long period of time. But it felt like a long period of time because I was there by myself.
Yeah.
So but it wasn't really that bad. You overthink it when you're in that position or during that time, but it wasn't that bad. But anyway, and all the others were in the other terminal. And I made a suggestion. I said, because I wasn't getting the information like I should be getting the information. And so they asked me something and I said, I didn't know about that. I said, who did you share it with?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, yeah, that's right. We didn't get opportunity to share with you. All right, so if you didn't get an opportunity to share with me, that's not on me.
Yeah.
But I suggested that we do a WhatsApp. Right, and put everybody in a WhatsApp so the communication
going off crazy.
Oh my God! Now every single, and then it became something that was mandatory. Yeah, because now everybody was in that
the WhatsApp group.
So I was like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? Yeah, because now that held me accountable. Yes, but at the same token, it's like I'm getting overwhelmed with information. Right, so sometimes there's good information, but there's too much information is not
too much information is not good.
You get distracted. There's you lose focus on what's going on, and sometimes you need to be locked in, right? So I made that mistake, And that was the only thing I should have been like, you know what, I'll attend these meetings. You don't have to do the what's that.
Yeah.
But that was my era. But it turned out to help everybody. And in hindsight, it kind of helped me out too because it kept me in the loop.
Yeah.
But it was just too much information.
Yeah, too much. Yeah,
so that's one of the things that what we build in here with the two companies that we build in is that I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information, right? Yeah. Because I want that person to be locked in. So whoever we get on board, or when we, start to scale to, because right now we're a 4-man team. Yeah. Right. So once we start to really grow, it's like, okay, I know in future, because of this experience that I've had, that's one of the lessons learned that I'm pulling from. I'm not going to overwhelm people with too much information.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's one of those things that as you're learning, and that's why it's good to work at certain places. Yeah. And getting certain skill sets at these particular places, because you get to realize, okay, this just made me a better person to go out and apply it to my company, or apply it to whatever I'm doing at the time. So if everybody could take in that mindset of, I'm working here, but I'm actually learning, right? I'm taking all this information, I'm jotting it down, I'm growing and I'm learning, I'm building more resilience from operational tragedies. You'll be surprised how much things can go bad and go up and down. But one thing I realized, no matter how bad something is going, there's always something good that comes out of it.
Absolutely, a lesson.
It's a lesson or something that happened, and it's like, okay, because all the time we used to be like, today was a rough day, but man, this was a highlight. Like this, thank God for this, or thank God for that. And then you realize through all these different tragedies or self-proclaimed tragedies at the time, you realize you got something positive from it, So there's nothing that it's gonna be taken away without something given in return.
Yep.
But,
man.
But now, final thing, because I know we've been chatting for a while. Listen, you guys are doing very, very well. You got the new space. You're doing a lot of B2B. Yep. You have so much content that's coming out now that I see it, that's really flowing, and I do like the direction that you're going into. Any lessons or anything that you want to share with people, or any challenges, red tapes that you had to overcome, whatever it is that you could share with people to get them started or get them motivated, or even help them out as far as like getting through some obstacles.
Yeah, I think, man, and we talked about it, man. I think, I suffer from this too. You can ask my team. My team will tell you. I want things to be like perfect. Like, I'm gonna record a reel. I want it to be perfect. And then I'm starting to realize, like, it's not necessarily we want something to be perfect. It's just the fear of what people might think if I put this out. And criticism. It's not perfect. So now, I think the one thing is, man, just put it out. Like, if you got content, put it out. And I think we got to overcome that fear of perfection. There's no such thing. So, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, maybe I should make a reel today on, perfection. Unlike, if you got an idea, just do it. Just start it. Like, it starts now, literally. You know what I mean? Literally, it starts now. You know what I mean?
Thank you for the plug.
And that's the thing, and I think that's really, really huge, because there's a lot of, think about like all the great ideas that are out there that people want to start, and they're like, I want this last thing to be perfect, and this to be this, and this to be that. Like, no, just ship it. Seth Godin says all the time, man, just ship the product, just shipped it. And now, like, I'm becoming more conscientious of that. Of like, all right, like my T-shirt was a little messed up, man, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, just get it out. So that would be like the one thing is just stop overthinking. Don't be fearful of it. Just whatever you want the world to know. It's either gonna take it or not, but you're never gonna know unless you put it out. Your perfection is a lie. It's a gimmick, man. I think that's one thing. Another thing too, man, that I think is really, really huge that I've learned, and I think everybody should lean in on is the essence of a team. You know what I mean? Like, I I'm really grateful for the people that come on and help Pavement. You know what I mean? Like internally grateful. Where like I owe you so much. You know, because it's like, all right, yes, I might be the face of what Pavement is building, and I'm on these talks and everything. But it's just like, if we're making like even the simplest design is not necessarily done by me all the time. It might be somebody on my team suggesting it or actually creating it. You know, and then when I really start to think and hone in on these things, it's like man, my team does they do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like they put a lot of effort into what the vision that I told them about, that they're helping me build. You know, so it's now becoming our vision. You know, so if you want to build something great that's going to be groundbreaking, you need to surround yourself with a good team. You know, and everybody on their team needs to know like, this is what we're building, this is what we're doing, this is the vision. You know, and I always challenge. Like one thing my team will tell you about is like, I'll say like, this is my favorite line. I don't know. What do you think? This is my favorite line. Like, I don't know. You tell me what you think. Like, what do you think is better? And they'll be like, oh, I think this and this is better. I'm like, okay, let's go with that. You know, and it's because like, and even if it's the wrong thing, we can now analyze it and say like, okay, I make mistakes all the time. I tell my team to do a whole bunch of foolishness, and it comes out to being some complete foolishness, and I'm like, oh, this was definitely my L, right. And this is how we're gonna combat this. And then I think when you give your team the autonomy to make mistakes, you start to learn, like you increase their learning curve, right. You know, so I think those are my two main things, man, is having a really solid team that you really adore, and you really like. If you can't brag about your team to somebody else, you got to get a new team. That's my thing. If you can't brag about the people in your circle, you know what I mean? Like, yo, man, you gotta get this person on the show, or you gotta talk to this person, or like, yo, this person does this. Like, for instance, let's use Jake as an example. Yeah. Jake is skilled. You know, he's on the team. Now he's part of your team too. Right. And I think if you don't have those people that you want to brag about, like, man, this, you know, my guy's a beast. You know, I think that's what makes a really good team, you know, because you want to tell everybody about the amazing people you work with. And so it's the team piece and, you know, the piece of actually doing it, you know, and finding the balance between those two can, I think, significantly put you in a better place to build something great, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that last piece. Yeah. I think it's so much, so much to swallow right now, because you're right. If you can't really brag about that person, or if you can't say anything positive about that person, then you're right. Then they shouldn't be on the team. And man, that's
you know, like one last thing. I'm just like one last thing I would say. By
all means, go ahead.
As the leader, it's not necessarily your job to know it all. It's not your job. You know what I mean? A lot of people be like, I know everything. You know, it's my company. I know everything, so this is what we're gonna do. Right. You know, there's I think this goes back to falling on your team. There's probably, if we're trying to accomplish 20 things, I'm lucky if I know 10. I'm lucky if I know 10 of the things that we're trying to accomplish.
If you ask a lot of successful people, the first thing they're gonna say is that I surround myself with
people smarter than me. Of course, right? Of course.
And ultimately, you know, they help guide the decision.
Yep.
Right? Yep. They don't make it, but they influence it.
Absolutely.
And once you realize this person, I value this person's opinion.
Yep.
This person knows their stuff.
Yep.
Yes, I'm gonna. He or she opinion is gonna persuade me into doing something right.
Significantly, man. And then for me, it's like I want people that are smarter than me to be helping us guide decisions, you know. And then I think I read somewhere where it was like, you want people that you're mentoring and you want to be a mentee to people all on your same team. Like, you want people that are smarter than you, that know more stuff than you, but it's also people that don't know more than you, that you can develop and advance, and you can see them grow and develop into really big roles. Right. And that's the thing where it's like, I got someone that's really, really talented in business development, and then I might have somebody that's trying to learn operations. Together, we can teach each other everything. We can teach each other something. Right. You know, there's so many things I learn about things just by, like, it's just like social media, for instance. It's like, you know, a girl on my team, she'll be like, hey, look at this. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Right. That's a cool trick. You know what I mean? Like, we should do this. And she'll teach it to me. Like, I'll be like, okay, hey, look into this tool. What do you think about this tool? She'll look into it and tell me, like, these 10 things. And I'm like, okay, like, thank you. You really just schooled me. You know what I mean? I might not tell you that, but I'm in my mind, I'm like, yeah, she's schooling me. This is great. This is great. Yes, she's teaching me something. You know what I mean? And I think that's the balance you need in a great organization. Yeah.
I agree. I like to say that you need experienced people that knows what they're talking about, but you need inexperienced people that have passion, grit, and hunger that want to get on, because they're going to have a different insight.
Precisely.
Right. That person's going to probably, the experienced person, you know, sometimes they're amazing at what they do. Yeah. But it's hard to penetrate because they know so much. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they could come back and say,
you got to reprogram them. Yeah.
You don't want to reprogram them, but you want to add additional programs. Yes. Right? And say, listen, add this new software. Because somebody's coming off the streets, they're hungry, they have new experience, new ideas, they look at things differently.
Tell me those ideas.
Maybe it's a generational gap, maybe it's something, you don't know what it is. And they just bring that extra value.
Yeah, man, teach me. I'm not the type of person that's just like, man, I know it all. Right. 9 times out of 10, like I'll tell you, 20 decisions, I'm happy if I know. 20 things we need to figure out, I'm happy if I know 10 of them. Right. Majority of the time, it's probably like 8. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll use that 12 other things that we need to figure out as a learning experience for all of us. Right. Somebody might know 5. That takes us now to 13, and then we got another set of things that we need to figure out. And I'm thankful that the collaboration between having so many different, like, you know, the girl that's now our community manager, in essence, she's going to law school. You know, she's got a paralegal background, but she's heavily immersed in social media. You know what I mean? So now you got law, you know, future lawyer on your team. You know what I mean? And then, but also your community manager. A friend of mine is like another person, like develops, you know, educational programs for, you know, middle schools, high schools, and like programs to get kids into college, but is also into sales for the business development part for the B2B stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of the stuff, like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be a lawyer. There's no way I can sit and take an LSAT. You know what I mean? Like, so I look at these things as strengths for people on my team that have chops to do things I necessarily might not want to do, or I don't think I can do. You know, and that's what makes the things, I think, really, really great. You know,
There's some things that I can do, and I don't want to do. Because I realize I'm not going to be great at it. I can do it. I'm not going to be great at it.
There's somebody that'll outwork you on the straight passion.
Yeah.
And they'll love it.
I'd rather give it to that person that I know is going to complete it. And the other thing is, you're right, there's certain things that I don't know, but I'll go to that person that does and say, hey, listen, can you... And you know what? Sometimes they do want to share like the information. Yeah. I'm just not receptive to that information because I get lost.
Break it down make it simpler for me to understand.
I don't even think if you break it down, I'm still not gonna get it. Because at the end of the day, and it's not that I can't comprehend it. Yeah. Right? It's just once they start breaking it down, I'm like, nah, you just lost me. And I don't think I have the time nor patience for it because that's not something I'm passionate about, right? But they are, you know. But if it was something I was passionate about learning, I could sit there and I'll probably still be lost. But at least I'll sit.
Yeah, I just know the baseline level. That's it.
Yeah, I'll sit through it. I'll learn and things like that. But yeah, man, a lot of things I just feel that, dude, I don't know. I don't want to know. You know, and I used to be like that. I'm for a long time. It's not something new, right? There's certain things I'll be like, nah, I don't want to learn that. Yeah, you know, because I know I'm not gonna be great at it. So why even do it? Waste of time for me. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Let somebody else handle that wants to do it. Yeah, you know. So I get what your is very. You have to look at things from an honest point of view. You have to have self-assessment. Yeah. And look at yourself and say, what can I do? What can I not do? And then you have to be humble enough to say, this is not for me, man.
Yeah, man. I wrote a list of all the things I'm garbage at. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'll be honest. I'm like, hey guys, like I suck at, formulating, copy to put like on social media or write a blog post, On the other hand, like my sister is a great writer. Her husband is a great writer. So like we might as well bring them on the board to do a lot of our communication stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it warms my heart to have my sister and her husband, thinking about even like, all right, I believe in you, little bro. We'll join the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but if I never said, all right, like, listen, man, this is like fourth grade chicken shit.
Right,
Excuse my language. I wouldn't be able to have that conversation with my sister. Like, oh man, this sucks. You know what I mean? And she'll spruce it up, and I'll be like, oh man, this is much better. You know what I mean? I'm looking at like what I wrote and looking at what she sends me back. I'm like, oh my god, this is way better. This sounds like something I could need to go to the New York Times. Just to be honest with you,
No, I get it, man. It's like comparing apples to oranges, man. It's just, when the thing is that I really appreciate is when someone tells me, like, even though I can see that they can do it, and I go to them and I say, can you do this? And they be like, honestly, I can't do it. And I'll be like, damn, I know this person could do it. I'm gonna encourage them. I'm gonna force them to do it. And they become good at it.
Yeah, they become good at it. Yeah.
But if somebody try that with me, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not doing it. Right? You can't really. It's hard to convince. Like, you really got to sell me on it for me to go ahead and make that effort. But I can find the person. Nah, I believe you. I know you can do it. And then they turn around and they do such an amazing job, and then you'll be like, why can't people do that? Hey man, Stanley, I think you should do it. And I'm not that receptive towards it, and that. But I appreciate when people say I can't do this, And then the first thing I say is, how about this? How about you give it a try? Try it out, and if you can't do it still, or if you don't like it, then but at least try it out. And they go and they do a great job. So, but that comes from having leaders like you and other leaders that understand a person. You can eyeball a person and say, listen, I've been watching you. I think you can do this. Or I think because sometimes people can't see it. They really can't see what they're so great at. Like, it goes over their head sometimes. And I shared that in another interview, that it's really hard to get the person to see it. But once they get it, and they find a passion, and you help them through that journey.
It's priceless. Priceless feeling. Yeah, man.
And then they turn around and be like, I mean, I used to tell people, it's like, no, I can't. No, you got a week to do this. And I used to say that, you got a week to do this. So if I don't see improvement, then I'm pulling you from that area, pulling you someplace else. You got a week. And then they come back. Not only that they can come back, they don't like me during that week. Right? But they come back and they appreciate it, because now they're doing that same thing I told them that they could have, and they were doubting, and now they excelling at it. And it's such a gratifying thing for me, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, look, see? All you have to do is have somebody push you. And sometimes you really got to push a person to get to the point where they need to.
Absolutely, man.
But this has been great, brother.
All the time, man. It was a good conversation, man. Great conversation, man. I love it.
Man. Listen, let us know where you could be reached at.
Yeah, man. So on social media, we're heavy on Instagram. We're going to get on Twitter because people are telling me I got to step my Twitter game up. But on social media, on Instagram, you can find us at _Payvment. That is Payvmnt. So at _Payvmnt. My personal Instagram is at ALAMENKABBA. So at Al-Amin Kaba, and at _Payvment if you want to reach out to us, man. Yeah.
Especially for those people that have the big businesses that you want to get some type of shipment done, please reach out to them. Very big. You'll be surprised. A lot of small businesses are reaching out, so he could do most of the heavy lifting. So I would suggest it.
Literally.
So I suggest you guys reach out, give him a call. And this has been an awesome interview, which I expected, because this guy always brings a lot of information, a lot of gems.
Appreciate it.
And it's just been a pleasure having this conversation with him. And to you guys that's listening on audio, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you guys always tuning in. And once again, have a good night.